Hi, thank you for stopping by to watch my video. I am Beth Ann of Beth Ann Stamps. In this video, we're looking at nuts about squirrels, and I wanted to pair that with the Picture This dies. I just really like these dies, and I think they can be pretty versatile. So today we're going to work with this, and I wanted to put my squirrels in a tree. So we're also going to use this birch background stamp set. And we're going to start from scratch and do the whole card on the video today. So this is the card we're going to be making. I just think these squirrels are so cute. Hey there, nuts about you. And then I put a happy birthday on the inside. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I have is my soft suede base, cut at 4 1/4 by 11, scored at that 5 1/2. And so we're going to start. I have 2 pieces of basic white. I have the regular basic white, which will be the inside, so I'm going to set that aside for now. And then I'm pulling in some thick basic white. Since I'm going to be popping this up with dimensionals, I wanted it to be a little heavier. So the first thing I want to do is die cut this before I stamp it, because I don't want those pieces that are inside to have the tree markings on them. So I'm going to bring in the stamp and die machine. And we have the plates. I always read the numbers on the plates. To do a thin die, it's 1, 2, and 2 number 3s. I always put a top plate, do not cut on this one, so I always have one nice plate. So we're going to take this. I'm going to put my thick white down there. I'm going to bring in my die. And we're going to paste it. Got a little piece of tape on there. So I want this in the middle of my page. This is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm just going to put that in there. And then I'm just going to bring a piece of this is mint tape, sort of like Post-it note tape, whatever you use to hold your dies in place so they don't slip. So I'm just going to put this right here. There we go. That'll hold it in place. Put the top plate on. And I'll run this through the die cutting machine. I love this new machine. It works so well. Let me move that out of my way. Peel my tape off gently so it doesn't tear the paper. Sometimes because you run it through that machine and put so much pressure, it wants to stick. So just be careful removing that. There we go. Here are all our pieces, and we're going to use the inside and the outside. I'm going to move my plates out of the way. Now, to stamp this background, I'm going to bring in the Stamparatus, because this is a full big background stamp, and I worry sometimes that I may have to do multiple stampings to get it fully covered. So I'm actually going to take some glue dots and use those to hold this in place when I put it down. And the reason I'm using the glue dots is because I can't get a magnet underneath this full background stamp. And that's okay. So I'm going to bring in some soft suede, and we'll ink this stamp up very well. There we go. Those glue dots will hold that in place, and I'm just going to rub over this stamp a little. Take a look. I think I can get something up here at the top. Sometimes when you get close to those hinges, it doesn't want to ink down. There we go. So now very gently pull that paper out. All right, I'll just set this off to the side, and I will clean that later on. All right. So now that we have that, the next thing we have to do is work on our pieces that are going to go inside. Let me close this. This one's a little darker. I might have done Sahara sand on this one, but that's all right. We have a different color here now. All right, let's keep going. These are my pieces. I have 2 of the larger ones, 3 of the small that are the same size. And you want to make sure that you have them right side up when you start to stamp them. You can see the little stitching better. All right, so I'm going to start with the big squirrel, and I'm going to do the outline. And he's not, obviously not all going to fit on this little piece, but we can get the majority of him on there so you know what it is. There we go. So then I'm going to bring in the part that fills him in, and I'm going to stamp that off because I want it a little lighter. And I have to get in here to line this up. Let me see if I can. I'm going to take it off camera a little here, or I have to stick my head in there. But you can see the outline. And then there we go. And then I did want to also do the little acorn he's carrying. So for that, I'm going to bring in crumb cake. And I'm going to do the bottom portion of that little. And then for the top of the acorn, there's a little stamp for that. I brought in cinnamon cider. And we'll just stamp that right there. All right. That's our first little guy. I think he looks pretty good. So we'll move him over. Now we're going to bring in the other little squirrel that he seems to be chasing around. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to stick with the same ink. And again, get as much of, I'm going to call it her, on the piece as you can. There we go. And we're going to bring in the part that fills in. We'll stamp that, and again, stamp it off. I've got to bring it out here to get underneath there and line it up. Push that back. Apologize, I've had a really bad head cold. You may hear me sniffling. But spring is on its way. Okay, so now we have those 2 little squirrels. Now we're going to do the next big one. And I want to have it right up. And I'm going to do the sentiment nuts about you. And I've brought in evening evergreen to go with all these browns since they're in that tree. Just test it. Oh. I want to get it. There we go. Get some good ink on there. We'll just pop that right in the middle. Okay. Now we're going to move right along. We have these 3 little ones, since these are all going to be evening evergreen. So first I'm going to do the leaf, the oak leaf. So I'm going to stamp that off, then stamp it. And then I'm going to come in with the outline or the vein, and I will stamp this in full strength. Again, I'm going to pull it out here so I can get a little better look at it. Bring that back in. And there we go. Cute little leaf. Now, for the hay there, that is actually one stamp, but I wanted to split it between the 2 circles. So I'm just going to come in here and just go to the very edge of the hay. I'll test that. Looks good. I want to make sure I didn't get any on the T. I don't mind getting a little ink on my hands. You could also put a piece of tape over that and take it off before you put it in the ink pad. So there's my hay. Now I did get a little bit in there, but that's why they make this mono sand eraser. It will actually take off little extra specks of that ink. Okay, and that's always on my desk. Now for this side, I will wipe off, grab my baby wipe, dry that off. Now I'm gonna do the there. Make sure I don't have anything on the Y. And we'll get that there in the middle. There, not too bad. Now we have all of our pieces. And since I have my ink out in my stamps, I want to go ahead and do the piece on the inside. Oh, and that's something I did also. I think it was on the Nuts About You. I did bring in, I had gotten a little boo-boo on there, so I just added a, instead of tossing it, right? Boo-boos are just design opportunities. I just, hopefully it looks like a dried leaf with that stem on there. So I want to bring this in, and I'm going to do the crumb cake, and I'm going to put that behind this, just for some dimension on that. And then this is what's going to go on the inside of our card. Let me move my pieces over. So I thought, nope, let's do Sahara. What did I do in there? Yeah, we'll do the crumb cake. And I thought it would just look nice with the branch coming across the top. And then, let me find him here. My little squirrel. I'm going to clean it all off. And I'm going to make sure that it's nice and dry. And then I'm going to bring in my soft suede Stampin' Write marker. And I am going to color just the acorn. Now his hands may be in there a little. You can try to go around those. But I don't think it's going to be a big deal if you see a little of those. So I'm coloring that in. Let me make sure I got it. Yep. So we're good there. And then again, I'm going to pull this towards me so I can see it. I'm going to just sort of take that acorn off the stem. Now, I can come back in with this marker and fill in some of those lines that may not have gotten completely in there. That's the nice thing about having these markers that match the ink pads. All right, so let me find, I'm going to stamp in the same as I did on the front. So I'm going to get that crumb cake again. And we're going to put that in there. And then I'm looking for the acorn top. And we'll do some cinnamon cider. There we go. And then with that evergreen and those leaves, we will do that again. And where is the vein? There we go. Now, instead of happy birthday, I'm going to use the other stamp in this one that says, hope you're feeling bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And again, I'm going to use that evening evergreen ink, and I had not used this stamp yet, so I wanted to make sure that it stamped well. And I'm just sort of going to offset that over on the side of the tree branch and just pray I'm getting that straight. There we go. All right. Close up these ink pads before I drop something in them. Isn't that the worst? You go through and you make a card and you just love it, and all of a sudden you dump it in an open ink pad. Okay, so let's put this in the center. Oop. I prefer to use the glue because it gives me that little bit of wiggle room. Oh, I like that. Okay, So now for the front, I do want to pop this up. So I am going to use a lot of dimensionals. Let me find my scissors. So we're going to turn this over. And I actually save the edges of my dimensionals. Why waste them? And these are really good for putting in between these circles to hold those up so that they don't collapse when you put them on your card. So I'm going to go through here. And turn that off. Try to get as many between there as I can. Right. And then I have some regular ones on here. We'll put around the edge. Use every bit of them that you can. Bring in some more. Now, this is the thicker cardstock, so that does help too, but I still want to make sure that I've got it held up. So when it goes in the mail, I'm thinking we should be okay. That looks like quite a bit on there, doesn't it? All right. Let me get these off of here now. That's the problem with putting that many on, then you have to go back and tear all the backs off. So today was very, very rainy. This is being recorded while all over the news they're talking about Storm Nancy that's coming across. And then I think what's the next one coming through with the snow is, oh, did they say it was Othello? I can't remember. I'm on the East Coast. So they seem to start either out west or in the Midwest and then head this way. Well, I'm on the on the western side of Pennsylvania, so close to the East Coast. Okay, there we go. We have this now. So I'm going to do my best to get this lined up straight. There we go. That's the hard part, is putting that on there with all those dimensionals. Now these are really easy. Again, I'm going to use glue because the glue gives me that little bit of wiggle room. So when I put this inside, I can wiggle that around a little until I have it exactly where I want it. And I'm going to put it together just like I did the other one. There we go. And these little squirrels are playing in their tree. There we go. And then the hay there, I want to make sure I get those in the right order. So I put the hay up the highest. And then we'll do the there. Okay. And then we'll put our little leaf down here in the bottom. There we go. And that's our card today. And I did want to show you, there's a lot of possibilities with this. I did make one other card this week. And this is this one. And I'm calling it my faux spotlight. Typically when you do a spotlight, you'll pop a section of the card up and color it. But for this one, I did take the centers out and I colored them and then I put them back in and I left it all flat so you see the texture. And then it made sure when I was coloring these that I kept it with on the circle. Now to color these, I actually went back and pulled out my watercolor colored pencils from Stampin' Up. And so they blended really nice with the different colors and the Daffodil Delight. And then I put some gold twine on here. And then this sentiment is out of a celebration item. It's called Special Moments. I am in love with this set. It has so many different sentiments on it that's just wonderful to add to your collection. And of course, the last time to get this is next Monday. It's one of those free items. So that's where this came from. Hello, Sunshine. And then where would I be without a friend like you? And I brought a butterfly to the inside. And then I did use some of, they're in the catalog, these brushed brass butterflies and put a few on there to give it a little bit of sparkle. So you can mix this Picture Perfect set with just about any stamp that you have and build them. I just wanted to go with the tree look with the squirrels hidden inside, and then this, what I'm going to call faux spotlighting, since they're not really popped up. But I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch my videos. Please subscribe and hit that notification button. And if you would give me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. As always, there'll be a link in the description below that will take you to my blog and to my Stampin' Up! Website for shopping. If you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to help you with that. Please feel free to reach out to me. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you. Bye-bye.